Hi guys, Cyclic here, and I've got another vid on the CX-10, and it's also useful for the other micro and nano copters. I'm going to go over replacing motors, attempt to anyway. So let's get busy. Here's our patient right here, who this is my black one that I used in the flip contest, and it did have a little incident with the wall the other day, and this prop bent, but when I tried to remove it, the shaft pulled out, so I have to replace this motor. Seems to be happening. Doesn't happen too often, and I try to prevent that. So first thing I'm going to do is clip my clips off. I'm going to do this from start to finish. So try to do this as quickly as I can so the video doesn't run too long. So I'm clipping the clips off. Doesn't take too long. That's why I like my clip mod. And this one has the double straps. I made a second vid to go over the double straps. And you know what, just before I get all the clips off, I should have removed the props first. So, still got a couple clips on, it's no big deal. Now I'm going to use this same tool here. This is side cutters I got from Harbor Freight. There we go, let's get it in the picture. And they're really inexpensive, but they work really well for all kinds of things, and they're like indispensable for these little quadcopters. So what I do to remove the props is I get these under the props and I just like gently try to wedge them in under there until it pushes the prop up. But even with this technique, the shafts sometimes still come out. I did this with the last one. So this one's starting to slide up, and just continue to try and work it up. And at the end you do have to pull it out, but this helps to get it started at first. So the other two out. These things are not exactly made to be worked on, but they're a heck of a lot of fun, and I do. So this one doesn't want to get wedged under there, so I'll even just, like you saw me do that, just kind of grip it a little bit and kind of try to pry them up. But grabbing them with a pair of pliers on the hub like this and pulling up really hard. Oh, see, there we go. You guys just witnessed a shaft pulling out. And I don't really know any other way to prevent that. The props are on too tight. You know, I can get my shaft out by holding it. That's a problem. So now I got two motors to replace on this. That hasn't happened a whole lot to me in the past. This is actually only besides the aftermarket motors I've gotten that had an issue with the shops pulling out, the stock motors haven't. I've maybe had a handful. You know, this makes maybe like the fourth one that's ever pulled out of, you know, I don't know, how many motors have I been through? You know, 20 or more, maybe more than 20. A lot of motors. And by the way, what I'm using to help me work here is a piece of cardboard and then some more cardboard rolled up with duct tape wrapped around it, and then some double-sided tape, and then I tape that contraption onto the board. It just helps to give a platform to work on. And I've also added the little zip tie things here underneath, so when the board gets when we have the shell apart, it helps to tie the board down, because you really need it steady when we start soldering. So got one more clip to go. And this clip is the stubborn one. Okay, got the clips out. Too much talking, but it doesn't take too long. Okay, now that the clips are out, get a little, a piece of wood helps to do this, like a little bamboo stick, or what they use for skewers, and push the motors out, because they, with the tape mod, these have had the tape mod, they do fit in there snug. So you just get in, you know, one of the corners of the holders, and you just push the motors out, you know, get them started. Just do a little at a time, work your way around, work your way around. Because just the key to all this repairs on this is you have to be gentle with everything. All this stuff just is so delicate. It's one of my clips. Okay, now we have the bearer board. Let's get the body shell out of the way. Okay, the first thing we need to do is get the battery disconnected and just completely removed. So I'm just going to stick it down there and turn on my soldering machine. By the way, let me show you what I use to solder with. This is like a multi-function, what they call a rework station. I got it off of eBay. It was somewhere around 75 bucks, and I love it. It's excellent. Here's the gun. It comes with different tips. And it comes with, this is called a reworker, and it has different nozzles, and it blows hot air, and it will melt solder, heat up shrink tube. This is just a wonderful thing. It's just like a low-end pro model. It's what professionals use to do electronic soldering. You know, a lower, more economical model, but it's been excellent. I love it. So anyway, there's that. It's warmed up. I'm going at 420 degrees. Pretty sure that's Fahrenheit. You know what? I'm not actually sure. Yeah, I think that is Fahrenheit. Yeah. Okay, so that's warmed up. Get back on the picture here. Okay, I have the very smallest, finest tip on the soldering gun. It's just the super pointy tip. And I like to use the steel wool to clean my tips. You know, you just punch it in there, and then I have the water pad too. So first thing you do, you get you use probably the thinnest solder. You have to have really thin solder to do this. If you use the fatter solder, it just does not work. This is 1.6 millimeter or 0.062 inch. It's not actually benzomatic. This is I bought it in a bigger roll, Radio Shack. It's a 64 rosin core, and this is standard solder. A big note I'd like to make is most of these items from China will come soldered with lead-free solder, and lead-free solder is harder to work with, and you need higher temperatures. So you got to keep that in mind when you get started soldering. So let's see, the bad motor right now, there's so many bad motors. We're going to go with this one right here. So first thing I'm going to do is get my little, well, everything's first thing, I got to quit saying that. I'm going to grab with some needle tweezers here, really fine tweezers. Grab a hold of it. Keep some solder around close to your board. Okay, you got to get what's called tinning the tip. You got to get some solder on the tin or the tip of your tip, and then just touch on the pedal and pull that one off, and get the second one, just grab it, touch it, and pull that off. It just takes a touch, and be careful. Do not touch the solder tip to the LEDs. I have already burned LEDs before soldering by just even getting too close. Like even that's too close. I should not have the tip close to the LED. Even the heat could mess them up. hopefully that one isn't. So you have to be aware of what you're doing with your soldering tip. And I've already forgot about the first thing I was supposed to do. I went straight to taking off the motor, and what needs to be done is the battery needs to be removed, because when you're working around this board, there's you can short it out, you can short your battery. It's just not good to be working on a live board like that, what I call live board that has power to it. So same thing, my tip is still a little bit tinned. See how it doesn't want to take on that one? You just get some more solder on your tip, clean your tip, because after a while the solder starts baking on the tip and it leaves the slag residue. And there, we've got the battery off. Put your battery in a safe place. Don't let the wires touch. And by the way, there seems to be a lot of batteries puffing out there. Just really quick, do not store your quads with charged batteries. After you fly, get them to LVC where the lights blink, and then store your quads, and your batteries won't puff. Okay, so that that motor is out. Now, just for the sake of doing this video really quick, I'm just going to go ahead and, well, I do have a good motor right here. This motor I have, this is a good motor. I've already tested it. It's a used motor, but I pulled it out of another quad that had a couple other bad motors. And this black wire is a little bit short. Hope it comes out in the video. Now we need to peel off some of the insulation like this red wire is, so we can solder onto it. But we just need barely some removed. It doesn't take much. You don't want to peel off any. Some of the wires, the insulation will burn back. This one doesn't like to burn back too well if there's not some already exposed. So what I do, and this is kind of tricky, is you pinch the wire with one hand, and then what we're going to do is just grab a little bit of the end of the wire. Is this coming out on video? And just grab hold of it with your nail and just pinch a little, slide a little bit off of it. And there, I've just exposed a little bit. Even though there's still part of that left on, we can cut it off. Or when I start soldering, it'll kind of melt back. So there, I've exposed some. Now what we need to do is tin that. We need to get some solder on the end of that wire. So just get the wire, some of your solder sticking up right here like this, and be careful with your tip. Watch that you're not going to touch other things. And then we just clean the tip a little. Oops, what was that? And then just get some solder on the end of that. You got to work quick with solder. You only basically got a second before the flux, and I'm trying to smooth the little strands down a little. Only got, a second or two before the flux starts getting overcooked, and it does not want to flow properly, and then it starts spiking and getting pointy. So I'm taking some pliers and I'm going to straighten the ends out. This one's a little crooked. It has a bend to it. So just take some pliers and try to get these wires as straight as possible. It will assist when it is time to put it on. And this one, sometimes it's not so easy. This one's kind of being difficult. Okay, there. That's straight. Okay, so we're going to get the wires straightened out. Get them prepared to put in. Just really quick, I'm even going to go over the Captain tape mod. I might as well. It's going to lengthen the video a little bit. It only takes probably 2 or 3 minutes to do. So here's the Captain tape right here. Okay, and put it into something to hold on to it. This is an excellent mod. I forgot who did this on RCG. I really forgot the name of the person who first came up with this. I need to look it up so I can start giving them a little benefit for their mod. So I'm getting it just held in a vise here, just so I have some way to hold on to it. And just going to peel a little bit, just cut a little bit. Where's my cutters? And I don't use the full width of the tape. The full width of the tape is the full width. This tape is 10 millimeters. I don't use it all. I cut it in half. So I'm only going to use 5 millimeters. So just kind of stick it on your finger, and we're going to just slice this tape in half. It's kind of a little tricky, but it can be done. There. This slice got half of it. Alright, we can get this out of the way. Now I've got these guys right here. I'm sure you've seen them at department stores and stuff. They're really not expensive, or Harbor Freight, what have you. So we're going to put our motor in this guy's jaws right here. And we want to tape the bottom half of the motor. Now some guys will tape the whole motor, which is great, but I found that it's hard to slide the whole motor back through the board. It's okay, and I wrap the rest down under. And there we go. I just wrapped it, and I'm just going to cut off the excess. There's one motor taped with Captain tape. And that's it. That's all I use, is just one little wrap. And what you're doing is you're doing two things. It's going to make it fit in the holders a lot better, and it does not make the motors overheat. There was some concern with that. If anything, it maybe sinks the heat out better. I don't think any concern, and it's only half the motor anyway. And also a big plus is it's got where the wires get pinched against the motor is usually on that upper half, because the wires aren't on the other side of the board. So this Captain tape is insulating the wires against the motor, and you won't get that shorting out that happens with these things. Okay, so this is the tricky part now, is getting these wires on. So let's go ahead and get it done. You got your positive and your negative. What I like to do is get the pads that the wires are going to be soldered to. You want to pre-tin them, because like I said, they use let's go ahead and close up on this, I guess, if I can. They do use the lead-free solder, and it is compatible with the other solder, but it's just a lot harder to get it started. So what I do is I just redo the receiver pad, re-tin it, and then try not to leave too much solder. So how you remove your extra solder is just get your tip on it and just like slide it really quick, and it takes excess solder off. There you got two pads that are nice and ready to go to receive some wires. Let's get this camera figured out. Okay, so the motor wires are already tinned. Okay, get a little solder on standby next to your board. Clean your tip. Hold your positive wire on the positive pad. Now I've been reversing motors, so I don't want to go into that too much, but I have no problem reversing motors, but this one's not going to get reversed. Okay, and then we touch that on there. There, it's one done. Get the black one in the spot. Now actually, I like to slide the motors in first. There, that was a trial run. And you got to clean my tip again. Get some on the tip. My tip is still dirty. You really need clean tips every time. Okay, let's slide the motors in first. How's that? And use the tweezers. It helps to get the wires in proper shape prior to soldering. So what I do is I just kind of fold them over down a little bit going towards the pads, and there we go again. Got my solder's a little out of shape here. There. So I'll do this black one first. I do this under magnification. It's a lot easier for me, but I'm doing the magnification free version right now. There, that one's on. And this takes some practice. I'm doing okay at it right now. I could probably make it look a little bit better. The wires are the key. These wires are so difficult. The less you handle them, the less you solder on them, the less you will have trouble with them breaking. There we go. Okay, I did it on video without too much failure. So there, that is one motor that has been replaced. Okay, let's go over something really quick and then I'll end the video, because we've both basically, you just have to reverse what we did to put it back together. Let's see if we can get this. Inside these holders, you'll see slots. There's 2 slots, one on each side of the holder. That's where the motor wires are supposed to run. These motors have already been in the slots, so that's how they're going to look. When you slide this through down in, it takes a little bit of doing. I'll go ahead and start it, because when you do get the motor started in the slots properly, it will slide through, but you can't force it too much or you're just going to break your wires. So like this one, you got to make sure that wire gets started in the slot. Get all your motors lined up. The best way to work on this thing is just do a little bit at a time. There, see, that one just slid in. Now this one I'm going to have to get the motors in shape. It's going to take, a few minutes for me to position them, and it would have been better if I positioned them before I started sliding them in, the other ones in, and had them kind of shaped like the way the other ones are. But you just run them straight across the sides, right straight, and then you have to get the motor lined up. And then you can also look into here and help coax the wires to get started in the slots properly, and then you just start sliding it in. There, I think that one actually, oh no, the black one's out, and I'm actually pinching it. Okay, but you guys got the idea. So, they're going to slide in. That one slid in, that one slid in really good, that one slid in really good, and your cover goes on. Oh, when we solder our battery on. I don't think I need to go over resoldering the battery back on. You've already seen my technique anyway on soldering. Just be really fast, really quick. Clean your tips a lot. You can't reuse solder. You always got to go with fresh solder, and don't puddle up your solder too much. Just keep it. I used to do soldering in my younger days for a living, so I had some practice with this. So thanks for watching, guys. Good luck repairing the CX-10. It's a wonderful little copter. But as you can see, it takes time, it takes patience. Time is the thing. If you've got time on your hands, get yourself a micro. Talk to you later, guys.